So hello, today we're actually going to get right into the video and we're just going to talk about this housing crisis that we have going on, okay? We have this whole thing of, people are just, they can't afford their rent, they can't afford their mortgages, and people like to use this whole thing of like, oh, well, if these millennials, Gen Z, whatever, if they just stop buying iced coffees and going to Starbucks and doing this and that, you'll be able to afford a home. It's really not that hard. And you also have some people, which I do want to touch on this, who they kind of say like, oh, renting is preferred, renting, this is what you should do, forget home ownership and stuff like that. So I kind of want to address different things that I've been seeing, reading, and then obviously just putting in my thoughts and my opinions on it as we go. So, we have this housing crisis, you got the cost of renting and buying is so much. To touch on the second part that I was referring to in terms of renting is better than buying, I would tend to disagree with that. And the reason being is because when you're renting, you could be renting, let's say it's a 2-bedroom, depending on where you live, let me just give some random number. You could do a 2-bedroom for $1,500 or even a 1-bedroom, which I've seen for $1,500. Meanwhile, you could get a 3-bedroom home for, if it's your part, whatever, maybe it's a total of $2,000, right? For a 3-bedroom home as opposed to a 1-bedroom that you're renting. And if you're splitting that with somebody else, you're only gonna be paying around $1,000 as opposed to $1,500. So that's something that I, just thought of. I'm like, why do people think that this is a better option than this? Yes, with home ownership, yes, there is a whole bunch of other stuff. You have to make sure your lawn is right, and if you got an HOA, you got to deal with their BS and everything else that like goes along with that. But yes, you have to make sure your house is tidy. The outside of it, the exterior. You have to make sure you put your garbage out and stuff like that. So there's a lot of other things that go with it, but I find that this is more valuable. And I'm not the only one that finds that single family homes are more valuable. You also have companies such as BlackRock, for example, who definitely find them to be more valuable. All right, that's why they're buying them up. All right, you have these other companies who, like these different kind of businesses, these companies, corporations that are buying up single family homes. They're paying X amount over the asking price for it, and then they're selling it to you for X amount over the asking price of it. And then you're just like, okay, this was a $250,000 home, and now you're selling it to me for $270,000. What's going on? My wages can't afford this. Oh, well, I guess you'll have to just rent it from us then, and then I'm gonna charge you the crazy renting prices like I just explained earlier. And depending on what kind of lifestyle you have, yes, renting could be the preferred thing for you if that's the kind of lifestyle you have where you got to move around. But if you're just like a regular Joe who has a 9 to 5, you're staying at home. I mean, you're staying where you're supposed to be. You're not doing a whole bunch of traveling for work. You're in one spot. Home buying is what you would want, but people are making it, when I say people, I'm referring to businesses and corporations, which are making it so difficult for people to have the American dream, right? And this is just what is a huge problem. And I'm like, okay, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, what could be done? What are some solutions that we could have to try to mitigate this a little bit, right? So I thought, okay, well, obviously, why don't you just lower the prices of the homes or the rent? It's something as simple as that. And I was actually reading something where people are thinking about buying condos instead of homes now, right? Which, I mean, people have been doing that for a while, but I mean, for a very long time. But they're thinking of doing that more so. This is why also you have the tiny home community where, you got all these shows talking about tiny home, whatever, because people are like, I can't, it's not just the idea of being frugal, right? Like, oh, well, let me, live under my means, let me only have what I need. It's not just that. This came because people were like, I can't afford this big house. I have all this stuff. You know what? Let me downsize because I can't afford to keep putting in all this money when I could just pay for the land, pay for the home, And then, because in America we have to pay property taxes on everything, that we have, which is ridiculous because in a lot of other countries they don't have to pay property taxes. Once everything is paid for, it's paid for. There's no extra, you got to pay for land that you've already paid for. That's not a thing in other places. This is another reason why I say America is just so, it's just so wild and so crazy, but whatever. So I was thinking you could just lower the prices of the rent or the mortgages, whatever the cost may be, right? But you have people who are so selfish. They don't want to do that at all. They don't care. They don't want to do that. They want to just milk you for as much as they can get from you. Okay? So I was thinking, okay, well, what could be some other solutions that other people are wanting anyways, right? So one, bring up the minimum wage. The minimum wage, I believe, is at $7.25 right now. Okay. If you look at inflation, you look at the cost of getting a car, look at the cost of mortgage, homes, renting, food, all of this stuff. Really, in my opinion, I think the minimum wage should be around $25 an hour. Bare bones, that's what you're paying people. Because if you look at everyone else, you have billionaires who's getting richer, you have millionaires who are getting richer, you have everything else that has gone up. Meanwhile, you have, the rent and you have the minimum wage that has not changed at all. So I feel with everything else, it needs to be up at $25. Now, with that being said, if you were someone who was making $20 already, your stuff needs to go up accordingly to that, whatever that may look like. If you're making $7.25, your stuff, or lower, if you're like a tip service worker, your stuff needs to go up to 25. If you were making $15 an hour already, your stuff needs to go up a little bit more than 25 to kind of balance out what you are already getting. You know what I mean? So that's what I think could happen. Do I think that would happen? No, because it's so much just to even ask for the $15. And then you have the squad that's just like, yeah, we need it. We gonna get it. We gonna get it, y'all. We gonna do it. We gonna do it. Then, push comes to shove. I didn't, hey, I get paid over 100 grand a year, you guys, 200 grand a year. I guess you guys don't really need it. I don't need it, so then that's what happened. Then it's nothing, But yes, we need it to be, in my opinion, at like 25 minimum. I'm curious what you guys think it should probably be. If you guys think that it should be at $15 an hour, meanwhile rent is at $1,700, $1,800, $1,500 for a one bedroom. Okay. Another thing, taxing the rich. These millionaires and billionaires need to pay their fair share in taxes. Something as simple as that. Okay. What we have is a situation where your regular Joe working 9 to 5 is paying well over, they're paying so much in taxes. Meanwhile, you have millionaires and billionaires who are not. Okay, so that is a huge problem for me, that you can look at them and be like, okay, you're not paying really anything. You have these corporations included, not just people, individuals, but corporations included, who are not paying anything. And if they are, they're paying almost nothing compared to what it is that you're paying. But you barely make what they make, like a fraction of what they make, So this crazy inequality that needs to change as well, and then, as I said, not allowing, these certain companies to be able to buy single family homes. In my opinion, that should not happen at all. Your corporate, you shouldn't even be buying single family homes at all. There's no reason for you to. Boom. You just solved one problem by just not allowing them to buy any of them. Now you could say, oh, well, you could, limit it to one. And who's to say they're not going to make some crazy shell companies or whatever, and then buy some more, do exactly what they were doing, just with more businesses now. I feel like there needs to seriously be some rules, some guidelines, and just simply some freaking compassion and help people out, raise the minimum wage, taxing the rich. Something as simple as that. It's really not that difficult, but you have people in office, you have people in power who just aren't going to do it. They just don't want to do it. they feel that they don't need to do it. But those are my opinions. Those are my thoughts on this crazy housing crisis. My possible solutions to it, and hopefully something can happen. Do you think something could happen? Do you think? I mean, what do you think? Out of what I stated, what do you think is the closest thing, or do you think these are all just so far out there that it's just not going to happen at all, or not in our lifetime? I would love to know what you guys think if we last that long because of climate change. But I would love to know what you guys think, and down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until then.